There is a quiet rumor that circulates in the mountains, never written, rarely spoken, but witnessed. It tells of monks who do not chase youth, yet seem to move as if time itself has forgotten them. Not stronger than athletes, not faster than warriors, but effortless. Imagine this: a man in his 70s rises from the ground without strain, his spine fluid, his breath steady, his joints silent, as if the years never hardened him. No supplements, no machines, no modern rituals. Only 5 minutes each day. What if aging, as you experience it, is not a fixed destiny, but a pattern your body has learned? In ancient healing traditions, the body is not seen as something that wears out, but something that loses alignment, like a river that forgets its path and begins to stagnate. Energy, breath, and movement fall out of rhythm, and once that rhythm is broken, stiffness replaces fluidity, fatigue replaces vitality. But the monks preserved a method, a sequence so simple it almost feels insignificant, yet precise enough to awaken dormant systems within the body. In this video, you will uncover that ritual, what it is, why it works, and how 5 minutes of intentional movement can begin to restore something most people believe is gone forever. Long before modern fitness systems divided the body into isolated muscles, ancient practitioners viewed the human form as a single, integrated field of energy, structure, and awareness. In monastic traditions across the Himalayas and parts of East Asia, movement was not designed to build strength, it was designed to restore harmony. These teachings were rooted in the understanding that the body operates through interconnected systems. Breath influences the nervous system, posture affects internal organs, and subtle movement regulates circulation, not just of blood, but of what traditional healers called life force. When this flow is uninterrupted, the body maintains a natural elasticity. When it is blocked, degeneration begins. Modern research, interestingly, has begun to echo fragments of this ancient insight. Studies in fields like fascia science and neuromuscular coordination show that stiffness, joint pain, and reduced mobility are often less about aging itself and more about lack of varied movement and poor circulation. Experts in mobility science have demonstrated that even brief daily practices, when done consistently, can significantly improve joint lubrication, nervous system response, and muscular elasticity. What the monks preserved, however, goes beyond physical exercise. Their ritual is built on timing, breath synchronization, and subtle alignment, factors often ignored in contemporary routines. In a world where movement has become mechanical and rushed, this practice reintroduces something rare: intentionality. And it is this intention, combined with precise motion, that allows a simple 5-minute ritual to create disproportionately powerful effects. The ritual is deceptively simple: 5 minutes, 5 movements. But each motion is not merely physical, it is a dialogue between breath, structure, and awareness. If done carelessly, it becomes exercise. If done precisely, it becomes restoration. Before you begin, understand one principle: do not rush. The effectiveness of this ritual lies not in intensity, but in coherence. Every movement must be slow enough for you to feel, and intentional enough to awaken what has been dormant. Step 1. Awakening the spine. 1 minute. Stand upright, feet shoulder-width apart. Let your arms hang naturally. Slowly begin to roll your shoulders backward in a circular motion. Not large, exaggerated circles, small, controlled rotations. As your shoulders move, allow the motion to travel down your spine, like a wave gently passing through water. Now synchronize your breath. Inhale as your shoulders rise. Exhale as they fall and roll back. After a few cycles, begin to subtly twist your torso left and right, allowing your arms to swing loosely. Do not force the twist. Let momentum guide it. This is not about stretching. It is about reintroducing fluidity into the spine. What this does, it reactivates the fascia surrounding your spine, improves circulation to the central nervous system, and begins to dissolve stiffness accumulated from stillness. Step 2. The grounding squat flow. 1 minute. Slowly lower your body into a squat. Go only as far as your body comfortably allows. Keep your heels as close to the ground as possible. Pause at the bottom. Breathe. Place your hands gently on your knees. As you inhale, slightly lift your chest. As you exhale, allow your hips to sink deeper, not by force, but by release. Then begin a gentle rocking motion, forward and backward, side to side. Small movements, subtle shifts. What this does? This restores mobility in the hips, knees, and ankles, the triad most responsible for how old or young your movement feels. It also stimulates blood flow to the lower body, an area often stagnant due to prolonged sitting. Step 3. The wave of the core. 1 minute. Stand back up slowly. Place your hands on your lower abdomen. Begin a soft, controlled undulation of your torso, like a wave moving from your pelvis up through your chest. Inhale as your abdomen expands forward. Exhale as you gently contract inward, letting the wave travel upward. This is not a large movement. From the outside, it may appear almost invisible, but internally, it is profound. What this does? It massages internal organs, improves digestion, and reconnects you with the deep core muscles that stabilize your entire body. More importantly, it teaches your body to move from the center, not the limbs. Step 4. Joint circulation sequence. 1 minute. Now bring attention to your joints. Start with your wrists. Rotate them slowly, feeling each angle. Then elbows, then shoulders. Move down to your neck, gentle circles, never forcing. Continue to your hips, knees, and ankles. The key here is awareness. Do not simply rotate, observe. Notice where movement feels smooth and where it feels restricted. Breathe steadily as you move. What this does? This sequence increases synovial fluid production, the natural lubrication of your joints. Over time, this reduces friction, improves range of motion, and creates that effortless quality often associated with youth. Step 5. Stillness with breath alignment. 1 minute. Finally, stand still. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your lower abdomen. Breathe slowly, deeply. Let the inhale expand your belly first, then your chest. Let the exhale soften everything. Do nothing else. Just stand. Just breathe. What this does? This final step integrates everything. It calms the nervous system, reduces internal tension, and allows the body to register the movements you've just performed. Without this moment, the ritual remains incomplete. Common challenges and subtle corrections. Many people will feel impatience during this ritual. The mind will say, "This is too simple to work." That is precisely the barrier. Another common mistake is forcing flexibility, trying to go deeper, faster, further. This disrupts the flow. Remember, this ritual is not about pushing limits, but about removing resistance. If your body feels stiff, do not fight it. Move within the stiffness. Over time, it will begin to dissolve, not through effort, but through repetition. consistency is more important than perfection. 5 minutes done daily with awareness is far more powerful than 30 minutes done carelessly once a week. If you commit to this ritual, not as a routine but as a daily recalibration, you begin to notice something unusual. The body does not simply become more flexible, it becomes more intelligent. At first, the changes appear almost trivial. You stand up without thinking. You turn your neck and there is no resistance. Your steps feel lighter, quieter. But these are only surface signals. What is actually happening is far deeper. Think of your body as a network of pathways, like rivers flowing through a landscape. Over time, inactivity, stress, and repetitive patterns begin to clog these rivers. The flow slows, sediment builds, and eventually, what was once fluid becomes stagnant. This ritual does not add strength or flexibility in the conventional sense. Instead, it removes the obstructions. When you rotate your joints slowly, you are not just warming them up, you are reminding the body how to distribute pressure evenly. When you move your spine like a wave, you are reawakening communication between segments that have been disconnected for years. And when you breathe with awareness, you are influencing the nervous system, the master regulator behind all movement. One of the most profound shifts happens in your fascia, the connective tissue that wraps every muscle, organ, and joint. Modern science has begun to reveal that fascia behaves less like static material and more like a responsive, adaptive web. When neglected, it becomes dense and rigid, but when stimulated through slow, varied movement, it regains elasticity. This elasticity is what gives the impression of youth, not because the body has reversed time, but because it has restored continuity. Movement is no longer fragmented, it flows. Another change occurs in your nervous system. Most people live in a constant state of low-level tension. Even at rest, the body is subtly bracing against stress, against discomfort, against anticipation. Over time, this creates a baseline of stiffness that feels normal. But through slow, conscious movement, the body begins to recognize safety again. And when the body feels safe, it releases. This release is not dramatic. It does not happen in a single moment. It unfolds gradually, like ice melting under sunlight. Day by day, layer by layer, unnecessary tension dissolves. You may notice that your breathing becomes deeper without effort. Your posture adjusts itself without correction. Even your reactions, how quickly you tense up, how easily you relax, begin to shift. This is not just physical improvement, it is systemic recalibration. To understand this, consider how a child moves. There is no separation between intention and action. When they reach, their entire body participates. When they squat, there is no hesitation, no imbalance. But as we age, movement becomes segmented. The body stops acting as a unified whole. This ritual reverses that fragmentation. Each step reconnects pieces that have been operating in isolation. The joints begin to listen to each other again. The muscles coordinate instead of compete. The breath guides the movement rather than reacting to it. And when this coordination returns, something remarkable happens. Effort decreases. You no longer need to try to move well. Movement becomes efficient again. This is why the monks appear effortless, not because they possess more energy, but because they waste less of it. However, this is only the surface of what this practice unlocks.
What most people overlook is this. The body does not only store tension in muscles, it stores memory. Every repetitive habit, every suppressed reaction, every moment of stress that was never fully released leaves an imprint, not as a thought, but as a pattern. A slight tightening in the shoulders, a guarded breath, a hesitation in movement so subtle you no longer notice it. Over time, these patterns stack, and eventually, what you call your body is not just biology, it is a history of accumulated responses. This is where the ritual reveals its deeper function. When you move slowly, with awareness, you begin to interrupt these unconscious patterns. The gentle spinal wave, the controlled breath, the quiet joint rotations. They create a space where the body is no longer reacting automatically. It begins to choose again. At first, this feels unfamiliar, even uncomfortable, because the body is being asked to let go of what it has practiced for years. But if you stay with it, something subtle begins to surface. You may notice a sudden release in your chest without knowing why, a deeper exhale that feels almost emotional, a sense of lightness that cannot be explained by physical effort alone. This is not imagination. It is the body discharging stored tension, layers that were never meant to stay, but were never given the conditions to leave. There is also a paradox here. The slower you move, the more you feel. The more you feel, the more you release. And the more you release, the younger your body begins to behave. But this youth is not about appearance. It is about responsiveness. A young body adapts quickly. It recovers quickly. It moves without internal resistance. And that is exactly what this ritual restores, not by forcing change, but by removing what blocks it. Another rarely understood aspect is timing. Many people try practices like this for a few days, then stop, because the results are not dramatic enough. But this ritual operates differently. It is cumulative. Each session is like a drop of water on stone. Alone, it seems insignificant, but over time, it reshapes structure itself. After a few days, you feel slight ease. After a few weeks, movement becomes smoother. After a few months, your baseline changes. You begin to move differently without thinking. And one day, almost unexpectedly, you realize something has shifted. You bend down, stand up, turn, reach. And there is no hesitation, no stiffness announcing itself, no internal negotiation before movement, just action. This is the quiet return of what was always natural. But there is one final understanding that separates those who experience this transformation and those who do not. The ritual is not the power. Your attention is. Without attention, the movements are empty. With attention, even the smallest motion becomes transformative. And this is why 5 minutes is enough. Because when awareness is present, time expands. The body listens more closely, and change happens not through force, but through precision. Most people search for complexity, believing that more effort equals more results. But the monks understood something different, that the body does not need more input.
What you have seen is not a workout, not a trend, and not a shortcut to youth. It is a return. A return to how the body was designed to move, fluid, responsive, and free from unnecessary resistance. Through 5 simple minutes, you are not forcing change. You are allowing alignment to re-emerge. The spine awakens, the joints remember, the breath guides. And slowly, the weight of accumulated tension begins to fall away. This is the quiet secret. The body does not lose its youth all at once. It forgets it, layer by layer. And in the same way, it can remember. So do not rush this practice. Do not chase results. Just show up daily with attention. Because in that still, deliberate repetition, you are not just moving your body, you are rewriting it.